Welcome to the DealMachine podcast. I'm David, the co-founder of DealMachine, the #1 data app for giving you data on who'd like to sell their house for a discount or any type of homeowner prospecting.
And I'm Ryan Haywood. I've been doing wholesaling since 2019 with over 600 closed deals. Today's episode is something that I personally have never come across in any of those 600, and that's pre-foreclosures.
One of my favorite things about this episode is that he's so young. He's 23 years old. He's done about 24 deals, and he specifically says, no, I don't want somebody cold calling. I'm eager to get in front of these leads, and takes full ownership for the conversations with the homeowner, which is the most important part.
So yeah, just kind of some background info on me. I mean, I'm 23 years old. I've been doing this for about a year and a half now, almost a year and a half. Graduated from the University of Oklahoma about a year and a half ago. Was lined up to kind of just do like your prototypical wealth management, corporate 9-to-5, but sold actually solar panels door to door over the summers, and had a buddy who was, yep. So got the experience kind of doing door to door that way, and had a buddy who I sold with in the summers, was a couple years older. Not to say he jumped ship from solar, but started doing real estate and door knocking pre-foreclosures, and kind of had that thought of, well, I've already gotten into door to door and overcome a lot of the fear, doing that a lot of people have. So that summer, crashed on his couch before my, 9-to-5 job started. And I was like, well, hell, let me give this a shot and see if we can make it work. The first deal closes, and all of a sudden it's the base salary you have lined up at your 9-to-5. And about an hour after that wire hit, called the company to quit like 5 days before the job was supposed to start. And it's been off to the races since. So
how did you find wholesaling? How did you come across the real estate journey?
Yeah,
it was his buddy, right?
Yeah, so it was mostly through my buddy, and I knew what it was before. Like I'd just been seeing content and TikToks and whatnot for a couple of years, like even back to when I was in high school. And it all just seemed like one of those almost like guru, like too good to be true type of things. So it was good having like proof of concept and having a buddy that was doing it and being like, oh, wow, okay, he's making, 20, 30 grand wholesaling these houses out of pre-foreclosure. It's like, that's pretty nuts. I'm already knocking doors, trying to make a couple grand selling a solar deal. It's like, why not knock doors and try to make 10, 20, 30 grand selling a house? Just makes more sense.
Did you start working directly with him? Like, did you guys partner up, or did you kind of do your own thing?
Yeah. So we still do a ton of stuff together today. But yeah, at first I kind of like was easing into it and was trying to set appointments for him because I just had no idea how to close a deal at all. So a lot of like the first leads I came across were, trying to get him on the phone with him. But my first deal actually, kind of a crazy story, and I'm sure we'll segue into this, but left a note on this chick's door. So every door I door knock, leave a note with my contact information, just like, hey, call me Peter, and then a cell number. But she called me back at like 9:30 on a Friday night, and he wasn't available. So it was kind of like the lamb to the slaughter getting thrown in the fire, right? Best way to learn, where I'm like, well, I've got this lead on the phone. I have no idea what I'm doing. She's got a foreclosure date in 2.5 weeks, and I'm just going to figure it out. So an hour later, talking to her on the phone, she's crying, pouring her life out to me, everything like that, and built great rapport with her. And all of a sudden it becomes my first deal, and, still my favorite one to this day. So.
Okay, so you got the deal under contract through pre-foreclosure and the help of a friend walking you through the process. What about finding a buyer? How did you come across finding a buyer for this deal?
Yeah, so we kind of have a four-headed snake with our whole operation, and so we have a dispo manager that we work with that works with all our deals we bring on. So we use InvestorLift, Facebook, and then just our own personal list of buyers that we've used in the past. So probably took us 24 to 48 hours to get that one assigned. Wow. On a little bit of a time crunch with the auction, but originally got it assigned for it being like I think it was going to be like a $65,000 assignment. And I was like, holy smokes, I've been doing this for a month. My first year out of college, I would have been stoked to make 65 grand. Of course, with payoffs coming back higher and, HUD liens and modifications, a lot of times sellers in pre-foreclosure go through prior to getting to this point, kind of reduce the size of the deal. So that was a little bit of the first kind of kick in the nuts in the real estate game, but
How much did it reduce the deal by?
About 40 grand. So it was still a $20,000 deal, all said and done, which, for your first deal, that check hits and you're pretty stoked. So
Was this a pre-foreclosure deal?
yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
how did the 40 grand go away?
She had so her payoff was a little bit higher than she initially thought, but she also had a HUD lien on the back of the loan because she had done a previous modification like a year or two ago. A lot of homeowners, unfortunately, aren't aware that attaches a lien to the end of the property. So, reduced her proceeds and, with what we were comfortable with her walking away cash wise to get into a better situation. Because that's the name of the game with pre-foreclosures, is helping sellers get into a better situation while also, being able to put food on the table yourself. Right. So, we had decided to bump up the purchase price and everything where she was still making good money, able to relocate, and we were still obviously, putting food on our table.
When you knocked on her door, did you say anything about the pre-foreclosure, or did you just approach it from, hey, would you consider an offer on your house?
So good question. With this deal, she called me back from a note. So she didn't answer the door, and I left a note on her house. But yes, to get into kind of what my sales pitch is, a lot of people do just knock on the door. Hey, would you consider an offer on your house? And I'm sure that probably works pretty well with like layup situations. The only problem is 99% of pre-foreclosures don't want to sell their house, or they probably would have put it on the market as soon as the mortgage started falling behind. So you kind of help hold their hand and walk them through some of the options and maybe get them to that realization that, hey, maybe selling the houses could be the most viable option. So helping them understand, there really is a bank that's out there and actually coming after them to auction off the house. It's X amount behind. Usually sellers are in an unfortunate situation where something has come up health-wise, job-wise, really something pertaining to loss of income. So kind of holding their hand through that situation, explaining the options that are out there, and then obviously hopefully hoping you get them to the point where they realize maybe selling the house is the best option. But for everybody, it's not. And, you kind of have to be okay with putting people in the best situations. And a lot of times we recommend something else, where I'm like, okay, here's your situation. You've got the money coming in to reinstate your loan. That could be just the best option for you. And then still asking the question, hey, would you at least allow me, to make you an offer on the house? And sometimes people are like, maybe being done with the debt is best case scenario altogether. Like, sure, let's do it. So
how many deals have you done so far total?
I think the one we closed on yesterday was either 25 or 26.
Wow. And that's a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Are these all pre-foreclosures that you're targeting?
95%. Yeah. We do some some text blasting. We've built out like an AI campaign that'll help like qualify a lead through sending text, and we'll set an appointment. So done a couple of those, but yeah, majority of what I'm doing is pre-foreclosure.
So do you typically knock on the door, leave the note, and that's your marketing strategy?
So yeah, that's I would say a lot of our deals come from door knocking. So knock on the door, either have a conversation with them face to face or leave a note and hope they call back. We do a lot of cold calling as well.
When you're doing pre-foreclosure and when you're making offers on pre-foreclosure, is there a process that includes having to consider construction costs in the offer? Because really, there's not a lot of wiggle room on a foreclosure. If it's a foreclosure, you have to pay what is on the loan, right?
Right. So yeah, that can be what makes or breaks a lot of pre-foreclosure deals is the payoff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why that's so important in the first steps of the conversation is like info gathering, which back to my first deal, I wasn't as good at, which is why the deal was reduced by 40 grand, but luckily it was still a deal. But yeah, I would think, well, I'm going to confidently say you've got to factor in your repair budget into pre-foreclosures more than probably any other lead type, maybe other than like eviction or something, because this is somebody who's kind of been neglecting their situation and the house probably isn't in the best shape. So
neglecting paying on the loan likely leads to neglecting keeping the house up.
Right. If you haven't been paying the mortgage to keep up the house, you might have been neglecting the paint spots on the wall or doing the carpet that needed to be done 20 years ago or something like that.
How many of those types of situations do you come across where the house is so far distressed that you can't even help in a foreclosure situation?
A lot. There's a ton. So especially with kind of the way the market had shifted a couple of years ago, whenever we pulled data off the county websites, 50-60% of those houses were bought past March of 2022. They're on too high of an interest rate to really make a subject to offer, especially considering arrears. The houses haven't grown too much in value. So those ones are kind of cut. Like, we don't even target those leads. If they bought the house after 2022, I mean, we haven't done a deal on a mortgage past 2022. But yeah, from there, I mean, it becomes pretty hit or miss, which is why that info gathering is so important. Really depends on like what pocket and area you're in. With the good news is DFW, where we do all our door knocking, that area appreciates a lot, and the home prices have gone up substantially the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it kind of helps save our butts a lot of time there.
Nice. Yeah. So, what areas in DFW would you target? That's a pretty big established city, right? Are there rundown homes there, or I mean, are they actually in good condition, or what's the average home condition like when you're doing these pre-foreclosures?
We've done everything, man. We've wholesaled the houses falling apart in South Dallas and in the ghetto, all the way up to the newly built 10-year-old brick homes in Frisco, Plano, McKinney, kind of the higher income suburbs of DFW. So yeah, that's the fun part about DFW is it's such a big market and it changes so rapidly, even just from driving, 20 miles out. You get to a completely different area. So
got it. So do you have any team members? I know you said the person who ends up getting in touch with them is you. So you've done about 24 deals so far. Have you hired anybody yet?
So we've got like some VAs, a TC that we work with. We've got another kind of, I don't even know what kind of title you'd put on her, but chicken college that helps just, input data into our CRM and do some of that stuff. So yeah, we've got just some team members helping on kind of like the back end stuff. But then, yeah, we've got a couple other partners who focus more. So like I've got a dispo manager that I work with. My buddy Ben, who originally brought me on, he actually was on your podcast, probably 2 or 3 years ago. So I don't know if you remember the episode with Ben Jensen at all, but
yeah, shout out Ben.
Yeah, wherever Ben's at, shout out. So yeah, but got it kind of a SEAL Team 6 kind of thing is what we like to call it. Small group of guys that are just all sub 27, 28 years old, getting after it, hustling and trying to get these deals done. So.
Are these people that you pay full-time, like part-time salary, or is it like kind of per deal that the transaction coordinator works on? They get, a couple $100, or like how is the payment structure for these people?
Yeah, she'll get paid per deal. And then some of the other people we have helping with like data implementation, they just get paid, an hourly or salary.
Yeah. Are those VAs in another country?
We have used VAs before. Like we experimented having VAs cold call a little bit. Personally, wasn't my favorite.
Yes. So you do the cold calling.
Yep. Yeah. I want to get in front of leads. I want to talk to them myself. So
how many leads do you cold call in a day? Is it kind of a limited list? Because there's not that many pre-foreclosures.
Yeah, that's a good question. It really does depend on like the lead flow and how recently stuff's been coming out. So there will be days I use a triple line dialer, which has been one of the best returns on my time altogether. Because a lot of the pre-foreclosure data compared to everything else can be hit or miss, and their phones are blowing up because they're really the main lead that's on a time frame, so they're not picking up like other leads are picking up. So just sprinting through those on a triple line dialer. I mean, yeah, there's been days where I've made 1,700 calls. So
there's that many pre-foreclosures?
Yeah. So I mean,
the whole state?
Yeah, there's
that's what you're doing, the whole state, not just Dallas then.
Yeah, we do the whole state. We dip our toes into some other states as well, like Michigan, Ohio, Arizona, Florida. But, the main market we're working in is Texas. But across Texas, there's too many pre-foreclosures, unfortunately. So,
and it's a very quick process. It's 1 month. If you miss a payment, they can actually foreclose, right, within a month.
Yeah, that's the reason pre-foreclosure is my favorite lead, is because you have the opportunity to build that urgency where there's an actual time frame. Like the bank has set a deadline and they have to make a decision. Whether that's selling the house or not, they've got to make a decision one way or another. And then it also, the thing I love about pre-foreclosure is it allows you that opportunity to be unique. and to set yourself apart where everybody's blowing up their line, hey, can I make you an offer on the house? Can I do X, Y, Z? I mean, I've got crazy stories where ladies who have just wanted to do absolutely nothing. They're like, I'm just going to wait till the bank comes, kicks me out, and, I'll figure out where I go from there. My biggest deal I've done, I offered the lady, she was on Meals on Wheels, so she wouldn't answer the door unless somebody was like delivering her food. So I luckily knocked the door the same time somebody was coming delivering her food.
Nice.
Offered to buy her breakfast. I was like, ma'am, like, you can't keep putting this problem off. I'll bring you something for breakfast tomorrow if we have an appointment when you're feeling better. Like, what do you like? She's like, I love sausage McGriddles or whatever they were. So a $3 sausage McGriddle turns into a $45,000 wholesale fee just from differentiating myself and offering her to buy her breakfast.
Nice.
Cost me $3, right? So
yeah. I was on the phone with somebody in St. Louis. He wanted to sell his house in March, but I asked if he wanted to meet up, and he said that he heard about a place that has great liver. And I thought he was joking, but I looked it up. It's in Maplewood. They sell, it's called Michael's, and they have veal liver on the menu. So I'm going to go meet him and buy him some liver. Never would have thought that would have been the food of choice.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to land on there. I see a sausage McGriddle. That's respectable. Everybody loves a sausage McGriddle, right? But
There might be some liver in there too. You might not just know it because they got a lot.
That's
of
true.
stuff in there.
That's probably a great point.
Or if you get a bacon McGriddle, it'd be better.
Yeah.
So Peter, you're 23. Very impressive.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Yeah. What now? What are you going to do next?
I love real estate, man. I can't really see myself getting out of the game. Like I love the hustle of it all. But where a lot of my focus is right now is actually on my social media. I'm doing a 100K wholesale challenge.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your social media?
It's peterlimbo.rei. So that's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. But yeah, kind of the point of that is being able to help show other people that you don't have to get into real estate with the expensive PPC campaigns and buying leads and hiring cold callers and doing all of that. You can literally pull data straight off a county website, see exactly what homes in your area are being pre-foreclosed on, door knock them, call them on your cell phone. And that's what I did for a month. And it landed me a $20,000 deal and has funneled me from working at a job I probably would have not ended up loving, to doing $500,000 in assignment fees over the last year and 3 months ish or whatever it's been. So that opportunity changed my life, and trying to expose other people to the fact that, hey, you don't have to have a bunch of capital to get started. You can pull info right off a county website, jump into it, door knock, and, figure your way out into real estate.
Yeah. So have you found a lot of peers that have a business at this level as well? Or do you feel kind of alone with being so young and being so successful?
I would say that's the cool part about the guys I work with immediately is they all are young too. I would say there's, a lot of people who have made it big are kind of older and have been in the game for a while, but that's also what I'm slowly realizing. And, this might not be the best thing to say on a professional podcast, but what I've realized with just throwing myself into the fire is nobody really has it all figured out. And you kind of just have to figure it out as you go. And the only way to do that is, like I said, throwing yourself into the fire. So it's been cool to kind of see like the steps we go through. Where at first it was just like completely free leads, door knocking, wholesaling, now starting to flip a property or two a quarter, trying to do some of those things. And you can't figure it out as you go unless you jump in. So that's kind of the whole point behind my challenge, is trying to inspire people, and especially other young guys, that you can get into something like this and, risk it while you're young. A lot of guys my age don't have a mortgage and a family they're looking after. Some people do, but it's the best time in your life to take a risk. So,
100% agreed. Have you joined any groups for business owners or meetups?
No. Not really. That's probably something I need to do better of is trying to connect with, people in the space and, guys around my age that are doing the same thing. So
cool. Yeah. Well, if you need any recommendations, happy to make those. We've been in several groups in the industry and have really enjoyed it.
100%. I would love those recs. So,
well, Peter, thank you so much, man. As we sign off, I did want to let people know your Instagram again is Peter Lymbo, LYMBO.REI. and you've got the 30-day challenge going on right now. So great time to join in. Any other final thoughts?
Oh man, I appreciate you guys having me on. I hope somebody from this sees the challenge and is inspired and, hopes to jump into real estate because they saw another young guy doing it. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Peter.
Great job, man.
Happy Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, you guys too. Enjoy your holiday.
You too.
Thanks for listening to the DealMachine Real Estate Investing Podcast. Please leave us a review and follow along wherever you're listening to your podcast.